You.
We're so hurt avoidant, right? Hurt is not pleasant. I'm not going to say it's not, but we as humans are, well, no, I'm just going to talk to men for a second. You are way more resilient than you think you are. You can love big, but you have to be prepared to hurt big. So you have to develop the skills to handle the hurt. And the funny thing is you have enough hurt and pain sitting like from your past, you can practice. You can practice that holding yourself. That's what to me, that's a big part of self-love. Like I use I wish I could remember what author I borrowed it from. But they call it inner child dialogue. It's a written exercise and it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Inner child speaks and it's your emotions. And you have to, there's a bit of a learning curve how it works, but it's like if you feel scared, it's the 5-year-old Brandon speaking. So you write that down. I feel scared. Cool. Little guy spoke. Then your, I'm just going to use the word higher self for a minute, speaks back. Hey, buddy, I can see you're hurting. What do you need? It feels a little odd until you get the rhythm to it. But then what happens is this is how you develop self-love. You have everything inside you that you need. I just believe that so strongly. Because I've experienced it, because I've had men that I work with experience it, and they're like, what is this place that I am in now? I'm like, it's cool, right? Because well, my experience was I would tell this little version of me, I love you. Here's the thing. He did not believe me. He did not believe me for quite a while. And I think that's important. Like, this is a process. You may have been betrayed by your mom or your dad in your mind. Like, it's irrelevant. That little part of you is hurting. He's carrying hurt to this day. Your job is to learn how to take care of that part of you. And from there, this self-love develops where you're like, okay, wait a minute. I just helped myself through a really hurtful time, a big pain. And all of a sudden, that little 5-year-old version will start saying, I love you back. Or that's what happened for me. And I'm like, holy crap, what is happening? So it sounds like, oh, it's just a writing exercise. But what that does is it taps into your subconscious and it's just a tool. It's kind of like magic. It's kind of like a way to work through your stuff that is super simple, easy to do, and you don't need a PhD to do it. And that's, a lot of people hear about self-healing. This for me is like the number one tool.
That's incredible. I'm like, wow, you would consider this the number one tool of all the options out there.
Yeah, and here I'll explain why I say that. I tried lots of different things. My journey started for various reasons, but the main focus for me was romantic relationship. I got to figure this out. I got to figure this out. All types of teachings, masculine, feminine dynamics. That must be it. And then I finally realized this is all about me. All of it. It is zero to do, not zero. It is very little to do with my knowledge of how I interact with women. I just need to learn how to be authentic. I just need to learn my inner world so I can share it with somebody when times are tough. And what that does is it allows me to see other people or see her more clearly. It's like, oh, okay, that's your wound. But I have a reference point of understanding pain. Right? I have an understanding of my hurt little boy. Now, whether she realizes or not, I can see the hurt little 5-year-old in her. and how it causes behavior and how it causes whatever it might be. So by connecting, with me, I can now see other people more clearly. I can give them grace. I can give them compassion. I had a story on what a partner should be for me. I didn't have to throw it out, but I had to evolve it to allow the other person to be human, make mistakes, not be perfectly matched, because I don't know if that actually exists, but a partner to work with on this stuff, or at least have the conversation. I'm like, I feel hurt right now, or she can share that, and I don't lose my shit, because that's not going to help. It's not about me. It's about her feeling hurt. But we get we're taught from a young age that we project our hurt. Oh, it's your fault. Well, no, it's not. You feel hurt. Did they trigger that feeling? Yes. Yes. Should they stop doing that? Depends on the behavior. But when you love yourself and you can hold yourself, you can stop blaming the other person for how you feel. So we all generally want to do our loved ones, do right by them. We want to treat them well. But when we go through a relationship and we're so used to being treated poorly, and we just accept that that's the way it is, they're just going to continue to treat us poorly. Is that their fault? Should they treat people better? Maybe. It's kind of, it's a bit of two different subjects. But if I know what makes me feel loved, which I can only do by working on myself, now I can declare, hey, this thing makes me feel loved. Would you mind doing it? Most people will go, of course, I'll do that for you. Because it's usually a simple thing, right? It's usually not something, buy me a Lamborghini. Like that's not love. But the only way you can get to that point where people will, air quotes, treat you better is by understanding what treat you better even means to you. It's been my experience anyway. And I recently made a request. I had to sit with why. Okay, when this thing happens to me and I'm triggered, what do I need from her? Like, what would help? And I shared a little bit about the abandonment wound and the pull away-ish feeling. All it was? So simple. I'm like, could you just tell me you're not going anywhere when I feel that way? If I say I'm feeling pull away-ish, could you just say that? So I had to take her to the airport a few weeks ago, and I go to pick her up, and I'm feeling pull away-ish. I'm like, this is the way I'm feeling right now. And she hugs me. And then when I drop her off at the airport, she says it to me. And that 5-year-old little guy in me just bawled his eyes out.
Oh my God, I love that story. That's beautiful. But that is how easy a relationship can be. Like, if you can just get to the point where you can say, like, actually was talking to my friend Sarah. She's going to come on the podcast the day after Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. And she's doing this whole relationship course. And she's extraordinary. She does hypnotherapy. She does a lot of things. But we were talking about this, and I was participating in some of her market research, right? And she was saying to me that with her partnership, they talk to each other. This is like so mind-blowing, but it's deliciously simple. They talk to each other and tell each other what they need and then do it. right? So it's very, very simple. Obviously, you're not going to go into a relationship fully healed. And even if, even myself, where I feel pretty calm, pretty secure when I connect with men, even when feelings are developing and all of that. But at the same time, you're not going to know, you need to be in that relationship to get triggered, to heal more stuff,
Yes.
basically, is what I'm trying to say.
It's a pain
And
in the ass.
yeah, yeah, you can't, there's some, you can only go so far in your journey alone.
Mhm.
So once you get into that connection, you have to pick this partner. And at least this is really important for me, to pick a partner that I can communicate with and say things to in a healthy and loving way, and ask for what I need. But first, you have to know what you need. And
Yes.
then you have to be able to communicate that in a way that's not mean or rude, or like, you don't have to like scream it at them or freak out or whatever, but it's, you've got to find that partner, if at least for me, that you can sit down and say, hey, listen, this is how I'm feeling. Or, hey, I freaked out yesterday and I said some things I didn't mean because I was really hurt because of this thing you said or did, and I
Mm,
feel bad about it. But this is what I would have liked to say if I didn't get triggered and have a reaction, right? Instead of a response. And that we can talk about that. And then I can say, this is what I need. And then that person can say to me, okay, I got you. Right.
mhm,
And then do it. So that is exactly what you guys did, you
mhm.
know? And it's so healing and it's so beautiful to be able to be in a